British Library is a document marked Most Secret. It was written by the military chiefs of staff for Churchill when he was still Prime Minister. Yasmin Khan has studied it.
So what do we have here, Yasmin?
Well, this document was produced just before the very end of the war in May 1945. And what it shows us is just how nervous and worried the military, the British military, were about the prospects of Indian independence. India had always been this sort of linchpin. It was the pivotal place between the Middle East and Southeast Asia. And they're very worried about the sort of future security of South Asia if Britain aren't there. In particular, the idea that Russia will push down and bring communist influence from the north.
So you're talking about the Cold War?
Talking about the Cold War, definitely. I mean, this is all about the threat of Soviet influence in Asia and of the Russian threat to India in particular. So they're really concerned to be able to keep that presence or to keep that influence, that military influence. I mean, there's a very interesting sentence here where it says, it's of paramount importance that India should not succeed from the empire or remain neutral in war, which is really saying that they want to be able to dictate Indian foreign policy in the future.
So what are the conclusions?
What they know they want is a strategic reserve in India that's centrally placed, with airfields that they can control, and with a reserve which could operate in war and be used outside of India in the region. Now, the problem they have is they know full well the Congress Party and the Indian nationalists are unlikely to allow that to happen. And so one of the solutions they suggest is that Balochistan, which is now part of Pakistan, could be perhaps not included in the Dominion and therefore used as a place to station reserves.
So it's basically saying if we carve off a little bit of India, a place that exists at the moment as India, but if we carve it off, we can make that a military base.
Yeah.
So were there then people in the British camp who saw a particular role for Pakistan based on this document?
There would have been people who would have seen it as potentially a way of maintaining British influence in the region in a way that they couldn't with a united India.
This wasn't the official government line. Attlee always stated that he wanted to leave behind a united India. But as Yasmin says, there were some people in the British establishment who favoured strategic considerations over Indian unity.
So clearly there was a much bigger global agenda.